Joe presents Boys Don't Cry with me, Russell Kane, together with ASOS. Welcome to Boys Don't Cry with me, Russell Kane, brought to you by Joe, together with our friends at ASOS. If you're wondering, it's a long line khaki, just covers my bum. It's sort of a skater fit, but it is tight around the pecs, which is why I wear it one size smaller. This unbelievably is a podcast for men. Let's put it back. And no, it's not a podcast for men at all. What it is, it's a discussion forum where men are forced to talk about the things that women wish they spoke about. When we first started out, we thought it was going to be everyone sat round in a group going, anyone want a digestive biscuit? And then we can discuss our depression. Don't get me wrong, depression, anxiety and digestive biscuits, soggy or otherwise, have all come up throughout the series. But it's much more ear to the keyhole. Why do men lose their tempers and punch a hole through the connecting wall, leaving a fish shape in the plaster? Well, on that particular occasion, it's because IKEA is shit. No, but it's. I realise that there's a lot of things blokes do that never get described. Women have the same amount of infinitely complex and wonderful behaviours, but I could switch on the TV tomorrow and hear AJ go, let me tell you why I'm annoyed X, Y, Z. And we will hear women discussing these things. You never hear a forum where a man will go, let's talk about why I adore my wife, but also like ghost-like bikini pics of her sister from 2 years ago. What the hell's going on there? Well, again, just an incredibly fit sister. There was nothing complex on that occasion. But that, I'm not going to make it all about me. I only got caught because I wanked myself unconscious and was found at the keyboard.
Oh, rookie error.
Stuck to the space bar. So who's my panel today? Well, I'm very lucky today. I'm joined by Radio X presenter Toby Tarrant, stand-up Baba Aleshe, and monster hottie, SAS hottie, AJ Odudu.
Yes, that's the best introduction of me you've ever given me.
What do you think of the extra A?
AJ.
Extra hair. Oh, extra hot. I like it.
AJACS.
Yeah.
AJSAS.
Yes.
You quite manly? Baba, can I call you Baba rather than Baba?
You can call me Baba.
You quite manly Baba? It's weird because that's what I call my wife. I do call her Baba, so it's a bit weird.
Oh, Lord.
Come to me.
I don't want you having like flashbacks or something. No,
So I might just start being violent towards you. Baba, finish a sentence, Baba! You're not explaining what you mean. No, you manly?
To an extent, there's a limit, you know what I mean, with me. Yeah, there's a limit with my
Let me put it this way. Would you do an SAS challenge?
No, hell no.
Exactly.
That's where my manliness is like not existent.
Well, I mean, here we are. The first question. Define manliness. What even does that mean? Go boys.
I'm only 32, man. Allow me, like.
Let's just say it would be easier for me to show you.
Now that's manliness. That's manliness. That answer right there.
And if you think this is my arm, it isn't.
That's manliness.
No.
Next question,
Toby,
please,
would you do as you don't strike me as someone that could leave the straighteners and the fudge hair shaping pate.
I'm
How am I going to manscape my stubble?
Yeah,
guys?
I'm a bit of a mixed bag because I grew up with. So my granddad was like a war hero, and my dad's proper blokey. But I got 4 sisters, so I'm a mess. I'm hoping we're going to sort this out before the end of the podcast.
You have a famous father, we should say. It's not just a coincidence your surname's Tarrant.
No, exactly. He's the only other Tarrant that I know, and he happens to be related, which makes sense. So I don't know. On one hand, I'm very like typical. Like I like my favourite things in the world are The Sopranos and football, but also. You wouldn't catch me dead doing the SAS. Who dares win? Do you know what I mean? I'm a bit of a quandary.
It's interesting because AJ's got a lot of brothers. So you're asking why have I said manly? It's just because we associate army and warfare and SAS and Marines traditionally with men. For right or for wrong, it's only very recently we've seen women moving closer and closer to the front line. So that's why stereotypically, if you say SAS, you think of men. But you're absolutely right to question me on it.
Yeah.
But do you think the fact you've got loads of brothers has made you more into sort of blokey stuff like fitness and tough mudder and SAS, or tomboyed you up a bit?
Do you know what? Maybe on the one hand it is having a lot of male role models in my life. I've got 5 brothers, 4 of them are older, and I'm lucky that I've always known my dad. But I'd also say it's quite an African thing as well. My parents are Nigerian. They're super tough, and they just get on with things. So I've grown up with this tough love mentality. Nothing's handed out. Like from a working class background, if you want something, you have to hustle for it yourself. So it's never been categorised as like that's a man's role or that's a woman's role. It's just like, look, we're all out here and we're all trying. So just get on with it.
So if you haven't worked out yet, that's what we're talking about today. The traditional, it's large inverted commas for those of you listening, male roles versus traditional female roles, where we think we are, where we should be, what actually happens once you get into a long-term relationship. We've actually got a bit of a coincidence here because I believe, Babatunde, you're also got Nigerian parents.
Yes.
We can really pick that apart. Would you say that's culturally true, or is it just AJ's parents?
No. That's the same as me. Exact same as me. Yeah. So, it at home was tough, very, very tough. Used to get, lashed a lot, when I was young.
That means drunk.
That means drunk here, I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
We've got more similar upbringings than you realise.
My mum was often drinking Kronenberg sobbing. So same thing.
I used to get beaten a lot. Probably because of my
Why?
manliness.
Just for what by mum and dad?
No, because, when I was younger, I grew up in Tottenham, so it was a rough area. So for me, I was getting beaten a lot to stay on the right path. Because I was very,
So, like, if you were being wild, your mum and dad would physically correct you.
Tear me apart.
Because I watch a lot of stand-up and comedy, and there's a fair few Nigerian comics, and they often get the impression that it's the mum ultimately running things via slipper, via keyboard, via whatever's next to her at the time when she loses her temper.
The dad is treated as the king, but the mum is...
The emperor.
You're right. A lot of Nigerian comics go for the kind of the images of mum grabbing you by the ear and pulling you into the house. Is it all that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
100%.
So AJ. So that's just our backgrounds. Let's leave our backgrounds, man. We are where we are. It's 2019. Where I of a certain age, or I grew up thinking it's all programming. There's no such thing as men and women. It's all sexism. Barbies are forced upon girls. We need to reverse that. We're all blank slates. And then of course a bit of science kicked in around the turn of the century 2000, which said, well, actually maybe there might be hardwired differences between men and women's brains that mean men genuinely are better at DIY because of X, Y, Z, and women genuinely are more emotionally connected and better at networking because of X, Y, Z. And now there's a backlash against that with another load of authors coming through. What the fuck is going on,
I don't know.
What's your instinct? Give me listen. I don't know. All I ever ask is for your truth on it. We're interested in your perception of this.
My instinct is, again, it just might come across as really brutal, but, obviously there's this whole gender talk at the moment as, like we shouldn't be dressing our young boys in blue and dressing our girls in pink, and there shouldn't be any dolls, and everything should just be gender neutral. And I sometimes think nature will do what nature will do. So people will naturally fall into whatever role it is that they were meant to fall into potentially. But honestly, I have no idea, because some people find me quite boisterous and quite feisty and, in that respect, quite masculine. But I consider myself just to be quite independent, maybe off the back of people letting me down.
No, you're just pure hashtag queen, pure hashtag fire. Toby, what's your cultural background, men, women, the carving up of how it...
Like I say, so I got 4 older sisters. My sisters are all older than me and 1 older brother. But
is it women's child rearing, the men are the breadwinners, or is it anything goes girls? It's a load of bollocks.
Do you know, it's weird because with me, like, my dad was hopeless at both male and female things, again, in inverted commas, but my dad can't cook for shit, basically. Like, I used to love it when my mum went on holiday because I knew it was baked beans and cheese on toast for 7 days a week, and it was great. But at the same time, if you asked my dad to fix a car up, he'd be hopeless like that. So I just think it kind of comes down to...
If you're useless across the board, it's sort of fair, really.
Yeah, exactly. But my mum was pretty crap at cooking as well. So really, there was nobody really like representing either side. But I think, like you say, nature will do its course. I think individuals are good at certain things. In my relationship right now with my girlfriend, like, We're both pretty crap at cooking.
Are you living together? Or
we live together, yeah. We moved in about 6-7 months ago.
And how's that going?
Really?
Well, this is where you will find.
Right.
It's the divisions are going to start if they start. Because you go into it like me, all feminist, and go, why should it be me that puts the shelf up or me that works out the map? And it's like these things break down as marriages go on till eventually you're outside in the garden smashing meat with a hammer while she breastfeeds in some leaves at the back in a nest. It's like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
Well, we're not at that stage yet, but like I said, it's only been 6 months, so it could happen. But yeah, I don't know. Like, there's been some things that have readjusted. So I went to uni and lived with 7 blokes. So from that to this is very different. But she's quite blokey, my girlfriend, I say in many ways. But the one thing that I've never known about before is clothes and outfits, and more panicking about what she's wearing and putting it out the night before. Now, I'd never seen that before. I wake up when my alarm goes off, and 10 minutes later, I'm out the door in whatever was the first few things I picked up. I made an effort today because I knew this was being filmed. I made an effort today because I knew this was being filmed, but usually it's the first T-shirt that's clean. I'm
like that after 25 minutes. Is that our place? We're starting again. I'll rewash, re-blow dry.
I'm not at that stage yet, but again, give it 6 months. So yeah, that's one thing that's caught me off guard, living with a woman. I'd say that's the one. It doesn't annoy me, but it's one thing I've had to adjust to.
Are you a door opener, a bag carrier, or is that all bollocks from another era and it insults the woman you're opening the door for?
I am old school. If we get a taxi, then I'll go around and open a door and hold it for her. And I do. My mum raised me that way. Even the one big thing, standing on the right side of the road, I'm big on.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm big on that. My mum drilled that into me. But I don't see it as disrespectful. I see it as being a bit of a
I do that in
gentleman.
America, where she's more likely to be killed because we're on the other side. The traffic's coming the other way.
Of course.
So I'm still following the British rule, but I'm ultimately safer.
Yeah, it depends also if she's been a good girlfriend recently. If she's been a bad girlfriend, I'll put her on the wrong side and walk down the A3.
But you've got to be careful with this. Baba, you're married, right?
Yes, I'm married.
How long have you been married?
3 years.
3 years. Yeah. Do your missus expect the door opened?
Oh yeah. All that traditional good stuff. All that.
How can this still
chivalry,
be happening in 2019? I've got it as well. So Lindsay, if I don't get there in time, she opens the door with slightly more force than necessary to display that I've forgotten. I'll just get that, shall I? She does like a temper open and goes through, normally holding the buggy and bags for extra like moral shaming.
The bag thing I can't get with. Holding the bag, even if it's for like 5 seconds,
I don't understand this. This is ridiculous, guys. Basically, this is what I'm saying.
What have you done?
Basically, this is what I'm saying. As a woman, as someone who is financially independent of men, I would say that obviously I can get my own door. Obviously, I can carry my own bag. And quite clearly, I can pull out my own chair.
Yes.
However, it would be nice if you offered. It would be nice if you wanted to be caring.
But why?
Well,
Has anyone ever thought about how fucking weird that is?
No.
To pull a chair out for someone's bum just because they're born with an X chromosome attached. Has anyone ever questioned the logic of this? There's no link there.
There's no link, but it just would be quite nice.
You've got a uterus, let me just get a piece of furniture for you.
It would just be quite nice, and don't act like a woman doesn't do anything good for you.
No, I'm just saying.
So I'm just saying.
Yes, she's changed. Did you see this earlier in the series, did you? No.
I'm just saying.
It's the bad
you've got a child, you've got a child. This woman has carried your child for 9 months, sweating her ass off every damn day as she's gaining weight. She's pushed out this baby. She's literally risked her life, and you can't carry her bag for 1 minute.
Well, that's a guy in the bag.
You better get that bag, bitch.
Hold on about that. A bag carrying serves a functional purpose. If someone's tired, you're helping. Pulling out a chair is a gesture. A symbolic gesture, and I'm just trying to work out what it represents, because although and same with opening the door and everything like that, there's something about it which implies, I'm being provocative here. I do all of this shit for Lindsay. Why? Because I like my willy being touched. That's why.
She does that?
Let's be honest. Wow. I'm not going to get the door. I won't touch your willy. Let me get that door.
I'll get all the doors.
Let me get all the doors until my willy gets touched. Yeah. I'm like that through a tunnel of doors. Please touch my penis. No, but you could argue if I was to get my angry feminist hat on, or if my daughter was to ask me about it now, should a man open a door for me? I'd be half inclined to think there's some sort of power thing happening there. There's a power thing. If I open a door for you, it's not necessarily politeness. You see it with men's handshakes, for example. I do all these award ceremonies as a comedian. Some men turn your hand. They turn it. Everyone, like, nothing wrong with a strong handshake, but some go for the squeeze and flip.
I've not seen that. What's the squeeze and flip?
So, like, let's demonstrate. You go like that, and then I'll turn your hand while I'm shaking it.
Oh, I don't like that.
Have you seen the other one where you shake hands, but then the other person holds your elbow?
I mean, yeah.
I'll hold the person's elbow.
So,
you're an elbow holder.
You could argue a door is a kind of, I own your space. It's not the same as you carried my baby, let me take your bags, let me do this, let me collect you from the airport. Fair play, you got me on all of those.
It is weird.
I know what you're saying, that because we all, I hope we all agree on this panel that we want equal rights and gender equality. So then I guess you're saying, well, if we're going for that now, then do we get rid of the old things which are a bit almost patronising in a way? But I don't know, I just think it's quite nice. Let's just... I've got no scientific reason for it. I just think let's just do it. It's quite nice.
But, and I am with you in the sense that if someone doesn't open the door for me, I don't kick off. I'm not, like, actually mad about it. Just be nice, wouldn't it? But occasionally. And also, I don't need you to do it all the time. Chill out, mate.
Because I think as well that it can be quite scary being a man at times in 2019. Like, my default was, when I used to meet a group of men and women that I knew some of them or knew like half of them, I would shake the bloke's hand and I'd give the girl a hug, whether I knew her or not. Yeah. The last year, I found myself shaking hands with women, which I never did before.
See, I started hugging men.
Well, no, but I'm a man hugger. I would prefer to hug all of them, but I normally go for a handshake and a hug of a woman. But the last year, I found myself going, is this okay? Like, especially in professional settings.
I think
I'm going, is it all right to just hug this woman?
I think, Toby, just to go, but we will pick up on hugs and kisses in a minute, but you've stumbled across a really interesting question. This is not normally the type of stuff we discuss. But if gender equality is what we're going for, how can we keep the old symbols of inequality, the delicate flower having her door opened and her chair pulled out? Surely, if we're going to be equal, we need to drop the...
It's not about dropping those things. That is just gesture. That's not about being a man or a woman. That's just you being nice or not.
But are they hungover gestures from the time that...
But I'm just trying to think of equivalent things the other way round. It's very rare for a woman to do something that is a symbol of the man's lack of strength. That's what it comes down to. It's like, if I get you a chair, it's like I'm sort of holding you like a delicate flower. Come forward, delicate flower. Come sit on my chair. The way AJ's going through me with her eye. I think you should stick that down camera for me. That is the scariest face I've ever seen. I've known you years.
What did Aunt Middleton do to her?
But the hug and kisses thing is interesting. What is correct now? What is correct? I mean, I kiss. We're in showbiz, so it's difficult for us to kiss and hug everyone we meet. But let's go back.
For you, if a man asks, "Oh, can I kiss you?" Like, maybe not kiss you, but like, can I give you a hug or something when they greet you? Is that all right? Is asking the best thing to do?
Before meeting someone for the first time, go, hello, I've never met you before. May I shake your hand?
That's so weird.
That's a society we need.
So you'd rather they just do it?
That's like something they said in 1920. Yeah. May I shake your hand? There was a story in the newspaper in the week about, this is off topic now, but it's saying that if you're on a first date, which is out of the game for us three, but if you're on a first date, AJ, the guy should verbally ask you, I'm going to go in for a kiss now, just checking I have an access code. Rather than do the lean in and risk you go, how dare you misread the signals?
Where's the line? No. I don't think guys know.
Should I ask you before I kiss you, AJ?
Just be confident and commit. Read the signs. You should have been listening throughout the day. You've not just randomly gone up to me and like tried to snog my face off. I hope not. Anyway,
again, I'd had a drink and
give it 5 minutes.
We've had hopefully hours of a lovely chat over dinner or whatever. Had a few drinks. We can gauge each other's body language. If you're gonna go for the case, and I don't think it's appropriate, I've got absolutely no qualms about giving you the cheek. Absolutely none whatsoever. I will turn my face, and that's absolutely fine.
I've only known you 5 minutes, and I don't doubt that for 1 moment.
The cheek will be followed by the headbutt as well.
Yes, and
if you continue to misread the signs, you get the forehead.
So still though, okay. Like before I got married, I never saw signs, man. I never I never read signs properly.
How old are you, Bob, if you don't
I'm
mind?
32.
See, there is an argument, the closer you are to 25, the more, I'm not using this word lightly, the more socially retarded you're likely to be because you spent so much time on porn, online, on Instagram, on Messenger, whereas I'm a little bit older than you. So I did quite a lot of manual face-to-facing when I was a teenager, getting knocked back by girls over and over again. Well, I won in the end, didn't I? Banani Tsunami, 2012. But no, but I spent years out in the field. I didn't go from watching a Californian girl getting double penetrated to meeting someone at McDonald's, which is what a lot of 19-year-old lads are doing. There is an argument that when guys are going dating, even guys as old as 27, 28, they've not physically socialised much, so men aren't learning the subtle cues.
But it is, you're so right, Russell, because it's a minefield out there now. Like, my friends were telling me about, like, this, like, text etiquette and stuff like that. Like, you can't text back straight away. Like, if he wasn't the last person to text you, then you can't text him.
Like, even bollocks.
Like, I find it so confusing.
What about texting a kiss? See, I would end a kiss to any female I'm working with. Just it's normal. If I said,
it's not even a big deal.
Yeah, but if it was someone socially who you just met at a party, nice to meet you earlier, kiss, is that? I mean, what's the etiquette of that?
Well, again, I'm just learning. I'm new to it. I'm learning as well. But I think that's quite flirty, apparently. That's like a flirty
But you're
thing.
saying apparently, but what's your gut genuine? Would you give a shit if somebody sent you a kiss at the end of a text?
No, not me personally.
What about if I sent you the aubergine squirting water out the end of it?
Yeah.
Only with a fist at the front. Would I then clock on?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
The fist is the deal breaker for you.
Yeah.
That's just one last thing that we have
Just
to
to
take a
make
break.
it
I
crystal
just
clear.
want to know, because we're talking about these sort of traditional male and female behaviours. Do you ever put an X on the end of any of your messages to your male friends?
Nah, bro, nah.
Would you ever like
Anybody trying to
thinking of,
kiss
say your mate broke up, thinking of you, bruv, hope you're okay, just a little cheeky kiss at the end?
I'm
Never?
not trying to kiss none of you.
No.
Interesting.
Why not, Baba? Come on.
No.
Why not? I'm not trying to kiss you. But like, you know, like if I see
it's
you,
just-
give you the, you know, yo.
Because
pick up
girls
yourself.
would. Girls definitely would.
Yeah.
AJ would message one of her friends. They
So-
kiss.
I put a kiss on the end of like most messages to my guy mates.
There we go.
I find a lot of white guys.
No, but you're spot on. You're spot
gonna
on.
lie, bro.
Now I went to a posh school in Surrey, right, where I think it's very different.
Was it all boys, was it?
All boys until 16.
I knew the digestive biscuit would come up at some point.
It's all gone full circle. I'll be honest, that's the podcast my agent signed me up for. As soon as you opened, we're not doing that one. Fuck it, I might as well go home. But no, genuinely, look, private schools with boys are very different. I mean, it is. We play cricket, rugby, football, hockey, and in the showers, they've always got that one mate who swings a dick around, and that's just it. And so a kiss on a text is nothing compared to what I saw of him on Tuesday.
I think many of us are now reflecting on having enough dick to swing when they was a teenager, 'cause I certainly didn't. Back with more Boys Don't Cry in a moment, but first, here's Chris Lloyd with something else from Joe.
Welcome to TKO here on Joe with me, Chris Lloyd, and Carl Frampton. We're a podcast and YouTube show. We're with you every Thursday. We have special guests like this man, Fist Bump. And Carl, why is the show so good? Sell it to the public.
I want to talk about your fist pump more than anything.
Don't talk about that kind of thing on air. What was wrong with the fist bump?
So
It was a rather feminine.
doesn't make-
let's go again.
There you go.
I
You
didn't
could hear it, you
expect
could
it.
feel it.
I
You could
didn't
feel it.
expect
Look forward to surgery. So just for those of you listening, that's the voice of David Hay, of course, former unified cruiserweight champion of the world, former heavyweight champion of the world. That's the sort of quality that you can expect to make up for certainly my lack of quality. Carl's doing all right, though. I think Carl's doing a good job.
I feel like I do my job well.
Yeah.
Solid.
You're solid, yeah. What's your fist bump like? Good fist. So that's basically what you can look forward to on Joe TK. We're into round 90. If you haven't caught up with any of them, they're all on YouTube right now. We look forward to you joining us soon. Take care.
Thank you, Chris. Now, here's a word from our sponsor. Boys Don't Cry is proud to be sponsored by ASOS Design. This is my absolute go-to brand for the white T-shirt and black jean look I often pull off, although today I've gone for khaki. Although I do have a folded white T-shirt in my bag, #double record. To be honest with you, if it wasn't for ASOS, I would be naked, just rocking back and forth. Or maybe I'd just wear an ASOS delivery bag waiting for my next stop. I literally don't go anywhere else. Even my pants and socks, genuinely from ASOS, they are. But ASOS Design has something for everyone. You too can express yourself, although I'm not talking about lactation, however you want, with clothes that will give you confidence to push the boat out a bit, but not too far. Try something new. You don't have to look like me, but if you do, there's always counselling available or plastic surgery. Created by ASOS and styled by you, ASOS Design. Check out the latest pieces on asos.com/men.
Beautifully done.
I'm the same, by the way. I'm head to toe ASOS.
I used to just be able to get myself to Top Man Oxford Circus, do one shop a year, and then get like a 2 Ubers home full of clothes. Now I don't even have to do that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
If it doesn't come from ASOS, I don't wear it. I couldn't give a fuck. Don't put this out because it's too grovelly. if it was like I had a suit made for me from a corporate. I was like, keep it. It's not an ultra skinny.
Really?
They just go at the crotch. They just split at the crotch when I'm on stage.
Oh, really? And you saying you can't swing around in the
No, I
showers?
can't. It's because there's so much space in there.
Jeans or you slim fit?
I'm kind of borderline. I'm not. I could never go. I'm too lanky. I'm 6'5" and skinny as anything. So if I wore skinny jeans, I'd look ridiculous. So I go for a sort of a homage to skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Semi-skinny.
Slim fit.
Yes, there we go. It's got a name.
We're back. It's Boys Don't Cry. We've been trying to pick apart the traditional male-female roles, the stereotypes, the etiquette around it, how we're trying to update it for 2019. But confusingly, it seems a lot of us still like some of the old ways or find them a turn on or find them complimentary or find something familiar or positive about them. I don't know. Let's go to some of the more staple arguments people have. DIY, map finding, childcare. These are 3 things which we've been going at with drills for 2 generations and don't seem to be fucking going anywhere. B&Q still seems to be full of dads, and it still seems to be the women that are stuck at home with the babies. What the EFF is going on?
Not in my house.
No, go on, talk us through about what's going on.
When it comes to DIY stuff, I am terrible, and my wife tends to have to pick up on that. And I'm the guy who proudly will push a pram down the road and go places with my son's 2 now, but when he was like, you know, in his pushchair and stuff,
Commiserations,
I was
horrible.
yeah, I know too. Honestly, like. Yeah, but I often get laughed at when I'm out and about with
I was going to say on stage, I was like, that's a positive thing. A lot of money in it.
But no, I get laughed at when I'm out and about on the street with my son.
Why?
I don't know. When I'm pushing him around in the pram, I see people like. I don't know.
What do you mean men? Like saying it's because it's effeminate or something?
Yeah, I don't know. That came into my mind, but I'm not sure if it's that or maybe I just look weird.
Maybe you're just radiating such humour. Come see him on tour.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe
That is
like,
weird.
it's funny.
That's like if that was happening to a woman or to someone from some sort of background of colour or religion, it would be classed as prejudice. Just to be a man with a baby and be pointed at and laughed. That is oppression. Let's call it out when we see it, brothers.
I have seen it happen with my own 2 eyes.
Okay, good. It's just not me. I'm not paranoid.
But you know, a guy taking care of his child is seen as some sort of like weakling. But a guy who goes, actually, no, hun, I'll change your nappy this time, is seen as like, oh my gosh, you have found yourself this God-like man.
Yeah.
Where did you get him? And there's just like a massive pat on the back for guys who literally look after their own child.
In 2019, do you know what I mean?
What is that about?
I completely agree that it's true that now I'm all for it and I don't have any children, so you know, don't quote me on this when I do.
Do you
have
want
kids.
kids?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Did we find out how old you are, Toby? If you're
27.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the oldest looking 20. I look about 58. But,
we're all like, there's nothing wrong with, you know, women love a mature looking man.
Honestly, I worked at my radio station for about 6 months, and then my age came up, and the whole office stopped what they were doing and went, "What the fuck happened to you, man? You're the most beat up 27-year-old I've ever seen."
No, it's a positive thing. AJ, do women want to date men that look 19? No. Anyway, crack on.
But no, it's so right that women look after their child and you go, there's a woman look after a child. Have you ever been in the pub, right, busy like Sunday lunch or something, and there's a kid and the dad is walking the kid around holding his hand just to keep him entertained whilst they're waiting for food or whatever, and every girl in the pub, it feels like their heart melts and looks at the dad and goes, oh, that is so hot, cool, cute, sexy. Just any father hanging out their son, and women melt. And I'm going, that's kind of his job, isn't it? Like, that is 50% his. Yeah. But you're right. There's women like fawn over a lot of men who are just looking after their child.
It's a really good observation. AJ, what's going on there? I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet here, but if I'm walking around carrying my daughter, it's like someone's put a lamp on in a moth zoo.
Well, do Genuinely,
I'm like, bitches, get out of my face. You know what I mean?
this is genuinely a very
Sure.
true story. My big brother used to take me and my younger sister
wow.
out and about to the park, and he would clean up.
Really?
These girls would be like, back in the day where like
It was-
you couldn't
it was rarer,
slide into
yeah.
a DM,
Yeah.
you had to actually like.
Slide into a pram. Hang on, there's someone else in this pram. It's just me. Do you want to take me to Pizza Express later? Sitting on the baby.
I get that too. Don't get twisted. I get that.
You get laughed at.
I get laughed at, and I get a mixture.
That's confusing for
You
a
see what I'm
man.
saying?
Mocked and then lusted on, isn't it?
Especially when my son was smaller, like when he was like 2-3 months. Man,
Really?
Yo, like
Let's fight. What
And I
what do
find
you
this
think?
baffling.
What do you think is going on? Let's just say, let's even say it's a tiny minority, ladies, before you get annoyed. But let's just say there is a small minority of women that see you with a two-month-old baby strapped to your chest. Think, I've got to go and speak to that man. What is the attraction there? What could possibly be a bit attractive about a man who is obviously in the most committed point of his life to any relationship ever, both to his child and to the partner he's had
that's
the child
like
with?
I think for them it's like, oh, that's so sweet. He's taking care of a child.
I'm going to ruin his relationship.
Yeah.
What she think's going to come out of that? I'll leave that on the wall. Let's go to a travel lodge and have some fucking pounding sex. What does she actually? What?
I don't know
What's
what
the
she
actual
expect,
thought process?
but yeah,
So true.
Yeah, I don't know what the ladies expect, but
What do you think, Toby? If you had to put your finger in the air and guess what's going through?
You're right. It's fascinating because you're looking at a man who couldn't be more, especially who's got a wedding ring on in the carriage. He couldn't be more taken.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine, and again, I'm probably stereotyping horribly here, but maybe a lot of single women go, that's exactly what I want.
Yes.
And he's doing what I want. So if maybe he's not happy with his missus, he's ready to go. He's ready-made perfect man already right there.
It's like a wildlife program where the lion just destroys a couple of cubs and then the lion's like, I've forgotten I had a baby, I've come on heat immediately.
Did you get that as
It's
well,
so
like
bad.
before you got married? Did you experience that, where a lot of women were like coming onto you?
Well, we don't live in a normal job, do you know what I mean? So I'd never been single and done a normal job. So if you're single and on stage and in a showbizy type career, things get crazy quickly, if I can put it diplomatically.
Yeah.
What a year, though. And, honestly, I had to take cod liver oil because I thought I was going to fracture my pelvis.
Yeah, this guy.
I was like a sewing machine in a power surge. No, but I found it.
Disgraceful, man.
I think if were I doing a normal job, I think it's more. We spoke about this slightly on the last episode. There is a very, very small minority of women. God knows what it is in our evolutionary makeup. Something about a man being attached. It fires off a part of the brain that's signalling the wrong things. If he's attached, then he's stable. Therefore, I can get with him. But that would, of course, be evidence that he's not stable if he's going to get with you.
Yeah.
AJ,
think
you're a woman. Even I'm not suggesting you see a guy with a baby and go, I want some of that honey.
Yeah, I absolutely
But you
don't.
would be better off at guessing what's going on in a girl's mind. When
I think what it is stereotypically, this is what always happens. Man meets girl and then they get married and have babies and everything's hunky-dory. She usually gives up her career to then look after the child for however long. She might go back to work, but only part-time. And, you know, the guy stereotypically is seen to be the breadwinner, the one who's putting food on the table and a roof over their head. And he is the reason why they're all lovely, safe and warm. And so that is attractive, isn't it? It's attractive to have a provider for you. And so I think when you see the other, and that doesn't go away just because you see that guy now at nursery picking up the child.
It's firing off an instinctive part of your brain, not
Yeah.
the logical part.
Yeah.
How is this still happening in 2019? How are there still men out there that's like, right, I'd rather you stay at home, I want to take care of you? How is this still happening with men that are in their 20s and 30s?
I don't know.
Are we never, ever... Do we talk the talk and have all this talk of feminism, but the trend is always women are going to always earn less than men, and women are always going to be stuck at home? How do we fix
No,
this?
I mean, social media, for example, has put a real spanner in the works because there's now, you know, mummy blogging is a huge thing. And one of my friends is a mummy blogger and she's now earning 4 times the amount that her husband ever earned.
bliss.
They're flying all over the world. They're having
love it,
a
wouldn't you?
wonderful time. But let me tell you, when he was reducing his hours at work, it was like, oh,
Like he's been emasculated.
Yeah,
right.
it was a big deal from his friends.
Yeah,
He was absolutely fine with it. He's like, my wife is absolutely smashing it right now. Why can't we all just have a lovely, nice time together on this new wad of cash that she's earning? They're having a great time, but the society around them is saying, well, that's not right. How do you feel about your wife always going away, always travelling, always being the one to earn more than you? How do you feel about now taking care of your own child? And it blows my mind.
So go on.
I'm in the same predicament.
Is your missus working at the moment?
No, well, she works, but she earns way more than I do. Way more. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I do stand-up, so you know.
You're broke.
Stand-up. No, stand-up. There's no in between. You're I'm earning a moderate amount of stand-up.
Yeah.
So, but now I found that I have to pretend that I like the stuff that she's into, like going to the spa and fixing up the house and shit like that. I'm not into none of that kind of stuff.
What are you into then?
I just want to watch football and get drunk.
But because you want to, we should hang out more often. But because you think you need to pretend to be into it because she's provided a lot of money for the house, so you feel like, well, part of my sacrifice in return is that I do a bit of stuff that she wants to do. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right, I got you. Okay.
But what I was going to say in terms of
do you feel emasculated at all? Do you feel would you feel like if sod the stand-up law, I'm going to raise the baby, she needs to go this full-time music, would you feel less manly in a traditional sense because of it?
And would you feel pressured by your friends? Like, what would your friends say? And would you care about?
Even work. Sorry.
Okay. Guilty.
So your friends wouldn't rib you about it being like kept a man or whatever the phrase would be.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut about what my friends do.
You can't lose a wife and your friends from one half-an-hour podcast.
But no, I wouldn't feel emasculated.
What about you, Toby?
Well, now
you're in a strong male tradition. You're already a radio presenter. You're following in your father's footsteps. You've got a glittering career ahead of you. All of a sudden, the lady you're with invents the next fake bake, or like my missus, the next eyelash brand that's taking off. Millions of pounds a year, tens of millions. The baby's there. She could have one parent at home. Why shouldn't it be you?
Now this is it. Like, so my girlfriend and I earn a pretty even wage, to be fair, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, although not after this. Hello. No,
This is the cash cow.
After this,
Just
hello.
get a dollar gun and fire
I'm going to go find a new woman after that. What they're paying us.
Or man.
Yeah, sorry, 2019. Or man. No, but genuinely, this is interesting because I had a good mate of mine who's his girlfriend and then his wife. She went out and worked really hard and earned a really good wage, and he basically was kind of like, I don't need to work as hard as I was because she's earning enough for both of us. So he kind of ended up sitting at home a lot and probably smoking too much cannabis and playing too much Xbox.
He got lazy.
He got lazy. And
That's not
Did
attractive.
they have kids?
now they had one, but he was at school a lot, or they had they had somebody look after you if they both went out, whatever.
That's cheating.
No
You can't be at home and have the nanny.
I sat there, even without the child aspect, I sat there going, I think if my girlfriend tomorrow invented whatever, I would still, personally as a man, I'd like to carry on working. I'd really struggle, I think, to sit at home.
There's nothing wrong in saying that. This is what we're here to talk about, these
just said
emotions. You're in the majority, though, I'm going to guess.
I think I'd struggle to sit at home and not work.
You just said a lazy man is not attractive.
Yeah.
AJ said that.
Don't get lazy. Just because it doesn't matter how much I'm earning, how much whatever. Do not get lazy on me. That becomes
So an
unattractive.
ambitious man is very
Still
attractive.
be ambitious, but do what you need to do. Like, take care of the house, take care of the family, whatever. Just because you're not offering financial support doesn't mean that you're not offering emotional support, like confidence, like everything else that a relationship needs to flourish.
All right, AJ, let me do this little thought experiment. So me and you get together. It's weird because this one always comes out. But no, you invent...
In your dreams.
Regularly.
Yeah, I think I've had that one as well, actually.
So you invent the next, what they call GHD.
Yeah.
Boom, you're doing your
Hair
worldwide, you're presenting TV, you're gone, you're around the globe. And I'm like, look, this is ridiculous. I'm not happy. I'm a stand-up. Why don't I'm home? We don't have kids, though. But I just want to be at home. But the house is always going to be immaculate. Everything's going to be done. There's always going to be food on the table. But we don't have kids. I just want to be homemaker, but I'm not raising our child because we don't have one yet. Is that
And
a
you're
step
not
too
working.
far? Yeah, I'm not working because I'm keeping I'm doing the way it would have been like 20, 30 years ago, there were plenty of couples when they first got married, even when there wasn't a baby, the woman still stayed at home. Dinner was on the table, the house was clean, the garden was done.
Good question
all
there,
of all your gym membership was organised. The finances, I'll take care of that for you, baby. You focus on your business. Little shoulder massage, whatever happens after that. Let's not go into it. But maybe a friend comes over who's hot and joins in. I don't know.
Maybe she's Spanish. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Let's not get too many details. No, but do you know what I mean?
I know what you
By
mean.
your definition, I'm not being lazy. I'll work out. I look after myself. I'll keep myself looking pretty for you. Whatever it takes. The house will be immaculate. There'll be food on the table every night. All of the boring life stuff you have to organise, I would take over.
I wouldn't consider that as being lazy.
No, I'm not lazy, but
yeah.
I'm saying, being honest, wouldn't it be a bit of it's a bit of a turn off? I've got this man who sort of just exercises and cleans the house. A lot of women would find that weird.
I'd struggle
on a gut level, they can't explain.
Maybe not. It just depends. Like, it depends. Is he coming with me on shoots? Is he doing me social media for me? Like, maybe he is offering something. And I really do think that, housewives have such like a bad rep, as though they do nothing all day. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I live by myself. It's a lot to clean a house.
Yeah.
It's a lot to do all of these things that you want to do to keep you happy. Isn't it amazing when you go home and there's food on the table? That's amazing. And it makes you feel good. And then it makes you go and sleep well. And then it makes you get up the next day and smash it at your job. Mm-hmm. I feel like, if you have a housewife or house husband, it's not to be sniffed at.
Yeah, but I've just stumbled upon a housewife when there's no children. No one would remark on that. But if a house husband, when there was no kids, people would be like, wait a minute. So you got no children, but he's staying at home.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
It just depends what he's
in fact,
doing.
you know what? I don't even think I've ever fucking seen that.
No, well, because I think
haven't, to be fair.
not only what women and men expect of each other, but what your own gender expects of you.
Yeah.
So if I
That's the problem.
If I went to the pub and my mates and I, we all met up, and they went, well, "What are you working at the minute?" I went, "No, I quit my job. The missus is earning a fortune. Like, I just stay at home all day." My mates go, "You lazy bastard, get a job."
Yeah. Even if you were cleaning the house, even if you were organising the whole social...
They don't see that. They don't see that as, you know what I mean? They don't see that as work. It's just true.
Yeah.
It's just true.
But that's what housewives are already viewed as anyway.
Is it seen as
so it doesn't
woman's
matter.
work? Is that part of the problem? Is it
Maybe, yeah. I think you're probably right. It probably is a hangover from... Look, this gender equality thing isn't going to happen overnight.
No, what you're saying is the gut feeling of 90% of the people watching this, listening to this.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
There's nothing wrong with flagging it up and saying why, how can we move on, how can we open our eyes wider.
I'm just saying that, like, this is the opinion, this is the low opinion of women regardless. This is what's happening right now. Housewives are seen as lazy, like you do nothing. And it doesn't even matter. Yeah, don't you think?
Not necessarily by their guys, but by their societal stereotype.
By society, it's like, oh, looky you. You've got a man who allows you and enables you to just stay at home and do nothing. These times, I'm having to go out and work part-time still, and so on and so on and so on. If a man was to do that, he might get a few digs from his mates, but that's about it.
So you're saying that other women would view housewives as basically just not working? Or you
Other women and men. I feel like society as a whole.
All right, we've got 2 more minutes for this last one, which I wanted to cover and we haven't.
Oh.
The papoose. This has been in the news this year twice. Piers Morgan's had a go at it. David Beckham kissed his daughter on the lips and held her on his chest. You know, men just seem to, they cannot get this right without getting judged. A papoose, if you don't know what it is where a baby is strapped to the chest. We're used to seeing women carry babies like this. I thought we were fucking used to seeing men carry babies like this. It appears it's still a fucking thing.
Really?
To papoose or not to papoose? Babatunda.
I definitely carried my son. 100%.
But what is people's problems with seeing a man with a papoose on his chest?
This is the first time I'm hearing of that. I don't know. This is why I was always getting
This was in the papers. So this was a controversial story. Piers Morgan really went for someone.
I don't know. I don't have nothing to say about that. It's normal to me. I've seen a lot of guys doing it, and yeah, it's cool.
I think it was Daniel Craig, wasn't it? So
Daniel
he
Craig,
basically
that's right,
thought
thank
it was unbecoming of James Bond to be seen carrying a child than a papoose. I think Piers Morgan needs to learn that he's not actually James Bond.
and also,
Surprise.
what a gadget!
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if there were lasers at the bottom of it, designed by
But is the
kids.
problem
That's
the
weird.
papoose? Is the problem that they're not being a man and just carrying your child with your left arm?
Probably.
Or is the problem that you need a contraption to carry your child? What is the issue?
I tell you what it is, in my opinion. When you place a baby on the chest or abdomen area, it's immediately suggestive of a woman pregnant and where the baby would traditionally sit. So it's more, not to me as I have a brain, but it's a more instinctively feminine image than pushing a contraption or carrying, like you say. I would strap on the fake boob and breastfeed with the bottle. I would do all of that shit.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be so involved with Minna, it was unreal. In the end, Lindsay couldn't breastfeed, but I was willing to go there. You can get the fake boob, you strap on, and the bottle goes in it.
I
So the
wouldn't
baby.
do that.
But it would make your baby more comfortable.
Yeah, well, I mean,
And she can have a sleep. Your wife could be absolutely exhausted. You can hit the 11 o'clock feed with some express milk, bang, defrost it in the microwave, straight out of the fake boob, like that.
oh, there's a James Bond I would watch. Well, I mean,
That's cute, though.
Ding, ding, ding.
Save the
Bang,
world,
milk.
James.
Ding, ding, ding,
No.
ding, 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 ding,
I mean,
ding.
it's hard for me to say because I don't have kids. So if you see me breastfeeding a child, then arrest me immediately. But no, I think we're in the eye of a storm right now. We can all feel that the world is changing. I'd probably say faster at the moment than it ever has before. I think we can all feel that in terms of not just gender equality, so many things, race, colour, religion, everything. And so there's going to be a crossover period. There's a lot of people who are 40 now who go, my dad's never given me a hug. So to now see a dad papoosing their child is just a huge change in a very short space of time. But I think in 20 years' time, the papoose will be the most normal thing in the world. But we're right in the eye of a storm at the minute.
Tune in to series 22 and we'll find out. Boys don't cry. How much Viagra is too much? This week my piss was blue, but I did rod a 70-year-old.
Now, series 22 sounds fucking brilliant.
Right, that's it. That's all we've got time for from Boys Don't Cry. Thanks to our friends at ASOS and to my kids Toby Tarrant, Baba Aleshe and AJ with the Verbal AK spray Odudu. Don't forget we're a podcast and a YouTube show. Leave us a review or comment if you like. If you don't, try and find a man or a husband to help you use the keyboard or some of the technology. Thank you for watching Boys Don't Cry with Russell Kane, brought to you by Joe together with ASOS.